So I did just introduce myself, but I'm Allison Sabatka, Assistant Principal here at Roosevelt. Welcome everybody to our Chromebook orientation.
And I'm Dr. Dwyer, Principal at Roosevelt Elementary School. Welcome everyone, especially if there are any students who are able to join us as well.
Kim, you go ahead.
I'm Kim Clarkson. I'm the instructional technology coach here at Roosevelt. And I have my other counterpart here for our tech team, Mike Martin. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mike Martin. This is my first year at Roosevelt. So I'm so excited for Thursday. I love working in the summer, but I love when school starts, and I'm more excited than I bet than the kids are for things to get started. I'm a building technologist here, so I will be the one telling your kids to try restarting their device.
Awesome, thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and take us through this presentation before we go ahead and get started. Please just know that this is being recorded. The slideshow and the recording will be viewable on the school website in about a week. Hopefully, we'll send out a blast with those links directly when they are available so that you know. So don't worry about taking copious notes. We will have this available for you to take a look at. This is for any second graders as well as any new families 3rd through 5th grade at Roosevelt. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. Oh, if you have questions, please, if you have questions, use the Q&A feature. That is the feature that we'll be kind of monitoring through the presentation. And I will either go ahead and stop frequently to see if there are questions at good natural breaks, or I will get interrupted by one of our lovely panelist team of Mrs. Sabatka, Dr. Dwyer, and Mike Martin. They'll just kind of interrupt me as we go. So please, again, if you can use the Q&A feature, that's what we'll be looking at today for questions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in. As Mike said, he's excited for Thursday for when students get to come in. A lot of what we do on the technology team is really working with parents and the district, including teachers and students, to really kind of be a strong team so that all students can be successful. And so a lot of this, if you do have students with you, welcome, please, pay attention. Some good information coming at you. But we will be pushing into classrooms too, as Mrs. Sabatka said, teaching students about their devices, some helpful hints and tips, how to troubleshoot, all sorts of fun things. So we are excited to be able to do that with them soon in the next week or two. Students have expectations with these devices. They are expensive and can do many things. So we want to encourage students always to use the device in a responsible manner. Be responsible, be respectful with them, make sure that they're on task and using the device for what they're supposed to be doing. So with that, you can find more information about our one-to-one digital learning program handbook and some different expectations in more detail. That is linked here. It is also on the district website under our technology page. There are also the school rules that we expect them to follow, and that's part of our parent handbook. And we do go over those rules and expectations with students at the beginning of the year and remind them throughout the year as needed. But one of the other important aspects that sometimes we don't think about all the time is just taking care of the devices themselves, making sure that they're clean and that our hands are clean before touching them, that we're not banging on the screen or the keys super hard, because you don't need to. We can be gentle with them. And then when in doubt, bringing the device back to school. So our second graders, for now, at the start of the year, will be keeping their devices in the building every day. Teachers may, at different times of the year, decide to send those devices home with students. That might happen this year for different reasons. And if that's the case, teachers will give you a heads up that that's going to be happening so you can plan for it. But for the most part, right now, second grade student devices stay at school in a charging cart in their classroom at night. 3rd grade and up, if I have any new families on here, those devices do go home. They're in a protective carry case. Please make sure that they go back and forth in that carrying case as well. So a little bit of difference here depending on the grade level of your student as we go through this. Some family expectations as our students get older and they're now onto Chromebooks is making sure that we're still talking to our students about values and standards and how they should use these devices, what your expectations are of them while the device is at home. Monitoring your students' internet activity and instructing them on proper digital citizenship. How much time should they be on the Chromebook versus taking a break and knowing when to turn it off? as well as just being on appropriate websites. Are they using their device to play games, or are they using it for their classes and their schoolwork? So just reminding them that this is a school device. Although we do fun and engaging projects on our Chromebooks, we want to make sure that when we're even at home that we're using them for school as well. So that's an important conversation that can be happening with family and students. And then, yeah, so that's the part of maintaining it for the pursuit of academic success, making sure that we're on track, doing what we're supposed to be doing for school, even when it's fun and engaging, making sure that we stay focused. Some tips and ideas, especially for when those devices are coming home at the beginning of the year and maybe a couple of times throughout the year as needed, having a family planning meeting regarding the Chromebook. Some things you can talk about is a designated space for the device. Where is it going to be charged? What time are you going to turn it off? Who's responsible for putting the Chromebook back in the backpack to get to school the next day? And then just communicating with your child's teacher about how the Chromebook might be used at home versus how it might be used at school, and keeping that communication open with your child's teacher. So just some ideas on how and what you can talk about with your student related to the Chromebook and how they're using it. And the last set of expectations we're going to talk about before I stop for questions is our district expectations. We are expecting ourselves to provide each student with a device to use, as well as the internet access for students while they are at school. We are going to be providing some internet filtering, which we'll talk about here coming up in a little bit. And then making sure that we have an effective learning environment with the integration of the one-to-one learning program. So really making sure that our students know how to use the devices, our teachers are familiar with the devices and are using them for instructional purposes, and really making sure that everyone really knows the purpose of that and how to use it effectively. So I'll go ahead and stop there and see, are there any questions before I move on? I'm getting a head shake, yes.
So they just had a question about the gray bars. I'm seeing them too on my presentation. They're kind of showing up when you display. I don't know if we can work around that or not. For the most part, I can see most of the text.
Gray bars. I'm not seeing that. I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll try resharing it really quick to see if that fixes anything, because I don't see that, which is interesting.
And thank you so much for letting us know that.
Yes. Let me know if that is any better at all.
I'm seeing about the same as I did before, but I can see most of the text on the screen.
Yeah, they're still there. I'm wondering if it's part of Zoom's overlay kind of on your end, in which case,
Did that help at all? I just moved to the
Yeah.
panelist view.
Yeah, so I think they are your sidebars on Zoom that are doing that. So now it's just covering up the title.
Okay, let me see if I can change that view maybe really quick before we keep going.
That is strange.
I don't want to hide my toolbar though. I'm going to just do my best and know that the slideshow is going to be shareable as well. So you'll have this where you can go through yourself and click through the slides and click on the links in the slides, as well as the videos being recorded. So that'll help as well. I apologize about that. It didn't happen. I'm confused. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. So I briefly mentioned our internet filtering. We do provide internet filtering for all of our students on all of their devices. We have a program called Securely, and it's to help filter, make sure that kids are able to successfully go online while maintaining safe and making sure they're on safe websites and appropriate websites being blocked. Although this is in place, we just want to make a quick note before we go on further detail about Securely later on that it's not 100% foolproof. It's just one single layer of safety for our students. So we do encourage, obviously, our teachers and our staff, myself included, as well as parents at home when the devices are there, to be actively monitoring your student and what they are doing online. And again, there's going to be more slides coming up at the end on Securely as well, and what that looks like in your parent account that you can set up if you choose to. So we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. We briefly talked about caring for your device or caring for your Chromebook. Just being gentle with it, making sure your students aren't picking at the keys or pushing on them really hard, or pushing really hard on the screen. Making sure that when it's being transported, it's always in a case with the straps and accessories. There's a little pocket you can even put your charger right in so you don't lose it. Again, for second grade, the devices will mostly be staying at school this year, but they can go home. And if that's the case, we'll make sure that they are protected and ready to go. There should be either a name tag and or just like a little label with numbers on it. We want to make sure that any labels or stickers that the district puts on these devices, that they please stay on the devices and don't get peeled off. That helps us kind of track the device and who they're assigned to. So if they go out for repairs, we can get it back to the right student. And on the other side of that, just making sure that although these devices are being given to the students, it's not theirs, it's still district property. So no decorating it with personal stickers and other things. We really just want to keep it clean and really take care of it so that it can be used in the future as well. A helpful tip for the screen, they are touch screens, so sometimes they get a lot of fingerprints on them and things like that. As needed, you can use a microfiber cloth to help clean the Chromebook so that it doesn't get scratched with any more abrasive cleaners. We don't want to do that. So a microfiber cloth will be good enough if needed. You are able to print on a home printer if you need to when those devices come home. There's more information linked within here. There's like a little bit.ly here at the bottom with step-by-step directions on how to do that. And again, this slideshow will be shared out on the district website and we'll blast that out once it's ready and it's posted. For second graders, again, the devices are mostly staying at school, but if they ever need a loaner for if their device needs to get repaired or something, we have those to be able to switch out the devices during that time. For our new students, 3rd through 5th, if they forget their device, because they do go home every day and come back to school, we do have daily loaners available where they can check one out just for the day and turn it back in before they leave the building at the end of the day. And we just need to note that there's only a limited amount of loaners. So we can't just hand them out like, candy. We do have to watch and limit that. So we do kind of keep track. If a student is frequently checking out and forgetting their device at home, we're going to start having conversations with that student, maybe involve parents to kind of figure out what the situation is and how we can best support the students to remember to bring their device. Maybe it's helping have a conversation of finding that place at home and remembering an at-home protocol or procedure to get it charged and to pack it up and put it back away. So just know we do have loaners, they're just limited. Some troubleshooting tips for Chromebook specifically. Things happen with technology, and when those things happen, our number one recommendation is to simply restart the device. With Chromebooks, that is an amazing, helpful idea, is just to simply fully turn it off and turn it back on. The next suggestion would be to check Wi-Fi. That can have an impact on your child's device and how it's working. If you're still having issues and the device is at home, you can contact your teacher with the issue and they'll help troubleshoot a little bit more. If it's a major problem or the teacher doesn't know, you can always log into the Power School parent portal. And there you can complete a technology support ticket, and that goes directly to our building technologist, Mike, and he'll be able to reach out to you. And if it's something more instructional like Seesaw or Schoology, he'll forward it to me and I might reach out to you as well. So we kind of tag team that a little bit depending on the situation. But please, please, please use the parent portal when in doubt to fill out the tech ticket. With these devices, the Chromebooks that the district has purchased do have a standard 1-year warranty plus an additional 3-year coverage term. So we do manage and facilitate all of the warranty repairs. And you can see here some of the different levels of damage that are outlined in the 1-to-1 program handbook. So these are just examples, that's not limited, but these just brief examples of the different levels and what might get charged for that. But you would fill out a tech ticket if any of these things happen. We would collect your student's device when they're at school and give them a loaner device, and we would work on sending that out for repair. And then when it comes back, we'll get it back to your student. I'll go ahead and stop there briefly if there's any questions before we move on to the next topic. All right, we're good so far, it looks like. So for this is where it gets kind of tricky for my second grade families. Your teachers are going to be using Seesaw as their learning management system. So we're going to talk about that briefly. If we have any third graders and up here on this webinar right now, we will also briefly talk about Schoology coming up next. That would be their learning management system. So for second grade, again, this is going to be all about Seesaw. Seesaw, when you log into your Chromebook and open it up, is bookmarked. So when you open Chrome, there's a My Schools app with a Seesaw button. You could also just go to seesaw.me and that would get them to the website. And our students log in with Google. So they don't have access to email, but they do have an email address that gets them into all their different accounts. So they would click the sign in with Google button, and then they would choose their district email when they're prompted for that. And that's how they log in. This is a quick view of what Seesaw could look like. It's a very empty class, but I have Bashful the Dwarf here. His name is up in the left corner of the screen. If you click on your child's name, it will be a drop-down list of all of their classes. So we'll see that here in just a minute. I'm currently on the journal here in Seesaw, and when students complete activities and turn them in and their teacher approves them, they'll all show up here as kind of like a Facebook feed almost of all of their work. And then they have other features. So they can click directly on the journal when they first log in. It'll be on that page already. But they can also click the activities or the light bulb, and that's where they get to all of their lessons and work that the teachers are assigning them. And there's an inbox where teachers can post announcements, post their schedules or important reminders that they might need to put on there. Or if there's upcoming events, they might put something on there. So that would be under our inbox within Seesaw. Here's a really quick view of how a list of classes might happen. So they would have art, music, PE, their homeroom class, all showing up underneath their name when they click on it. And you just click on the class and it automatically switches. So very user-friendly. This is a picture of the inbox here. So if I clicked on that, I have a welcome students and parents message right there, and teachers can, post new messages once a week, every day. It's really up to them and how they want to use that to communicate with their students in person and at home. Here's an example of what the activities page looks like. So if we clicked on the light bulb, student activities or work that the teachers want them to do will show up here. It'll show them a brief little picture. And then their directions to get started on what to do. And they just simply click the add response button and they can start their work. When students are in here, the to do is any work that they have not started yet. The in progress are things that they started and they click the save as draft and it goes into here. So if they save something as a draft, they can come back to it anytime. And then things that are done will go in this folder, as well as when teachers approve it, it will go to their journal too. So you can see it in multiple places, which is kind of cool. One thing that's really exciting for me as both a teacher and a parent is Seesaw Family. The Seesaw Family app is completely separate from what your students use. You can download this application on your phone, both Android and iPhone. And when you sign up for the free account, your teacher can give you an access code. And with that access code, it will connect your parent account to your child's Seesaw account. And then from there, you can see the work that they're completing. You can leave comments for them on their work and encourage them or great job. It also really just helps. I have a little girl here, and she, anytime I ask her about school, I did nothing today. And it really helps be like, oh, I saw that you did this picture. What book did you read? So it kind of helps that discussion here at home a little bit. So I really encourage you to take a look at Seesaw Family and work with your teacher on getting connected on there. If you would like more information, you can go to the Seesaw website, but this slideshow has more information linked when you get access to that in a little bit. You can just simply click on it and it'll take you right there. I'll go ahead and pause and see if there's any questions on Seesaw before we move on to Schoology.
There's a question on Seesaw in the chat that
Okay.
You can probably answer best. It says, can you cover how to log into Seesaw? What is the password? Like, how will they know their password?
Oh,
And,
perfect. Yeah.
Is it the same for parents that have Seesaw on their phones to see the postings? So I think that was Seesaw Family that you're talking about.
Yes, so for students, we'll help them log in at school. That's part of the lesson that we do when the tech team pushes in. We talk about how to take care of their devices as well as how to log in and use Seesaw and things. But they'll log into their Chromebook, and that will be a username, their email, and they have a password, which is their student ID that you can find probably on Parent Portal, but we'll also help them with finding that and getting access to it. Once they're logged into their Chromebook, this is a little screenshot. They have a little folder up here called My School Apps, and they can click directly for Seesaw, and it has the little logo on it. Once they click on that, they're going to just click the sign in with Google. They don't have to type anything. They just click the button. Then they click their name, and then it'll automatically bring them in. So it's a couple of steps, but once they get used to logging into their Chromebook, it's pretty easy and they catch on really fast. So we'll help practice that with them the first couple of times, and they'll be rock stars at it. For the second question, yes, I think that we were talking about the Seesaw Family app. With the Seesaw Family app, if you can work with your teacher on that one, they'll give you a code to join, and you'll be able to see then your students' work for that class and be able to leave comments on the student work. So if they did like a math activity, you would see it once the teacher approves it, and you could type or leave a little voice comment, even record your voice telling them what a great job that they did or whatever comment you would like. And that only goes to your child, and you can only see your child's work. You won't be able to see the whole class. You only see your specific student. Are there any other Seesaw questions, or hopefully I answered the questions? Okay. Feel free, guys, to interrupt me if anything else comes up, but I'll stop again after the Schoology part 2 to see if there's anything. So for any third grade students and up that may be new to our district, our teachers will be using Schoology with you instead of Seesaw. So I'll go over this pretty quickly. But this is also bookmarked, so it's going to be on their student Chromebooks in that folder for the student apps. They could also type in learn.d64.org, but they don't have to. We'll show them it's on the My School Apps. And once they click on that, they're also going to log in with Google. So I'm going to click this little play button really quick so you can see what it looks like.
Students, I'm here to show you how to get onto your Schoology account. So the easiest way to do this is you're going to look in your bookmarks toolbar, and you should have a folder called My School Apps, and one of the drop downs should say something with Schoology. It might look a little different than mine, but it should say something about Schoology. When you click on that, it's going to take you to the sign-in page. Make sure you choose your student account, which it will open if you are on your Chromebook. And when you are in, you will land on your course dashboard homepage, and you will see all your different courses from all your different teachers. If for some reason you have deleted your My School Apps, you're going to navigate to learn.d64.org, and it's going to take you to the exact same login page. Thanks so much.
And again, this slideshow will be posted on the website if you need to review that at any point, but your student will be practicing in school with us on how to do all of that. Schoology, when they are logged in and they click inside of a class, they have a materials page. That's kind of like their home screen for each class. And then they'll see a list of materials or links or announcements from their teacher. So this is really kind of that digital classroom that really allows teachers to easily and efficiently share different websites, links. Students can use multimedia like voice recording or video to be able to do work and submit that into their teachers as well. Each course is going to look a little bit different. It just depends on how the teacher sets that up. So there's going to be a different picture in the corner. The materials page might look a little bit different depending on how that teacher, again, set up their own course. They also have an update section on Schoology within their courses. Teachers can post schedules or announcements daily or just reminders that are upcoming. So this would be the updates, and then it's kind of like a long feed too with the most recent at the top. benefit for Schoology with our older students is it does have a built-in messaging system, so teachers and students can connect without having to use emails. Parents can also sign up for a parent Schoology account and be connected to their student. And so that way you can kind of have a little insight into it. You won't see the full course like your child can, but you do get access to some of that and see the calendar and things. So that is kind of a great feature to kind of just make sure your student is staying on track with everything. So you can easily navigate, as showing you here in this little GIF or GIF, how to navigate between different classes. When you log in, students can click on the courses button in the top banner and it will bring up a list of classes that they are. So their PE, their homeroom, music, again, they'll all be right there just to click on. All right. We do have access to both Zoom and Google Meet if needed throughout the year. Sometimes teachers may use these for different small groups or things. If students have to quarantine, they might have to use Zoom or Google Meet. So just know that that might be something your child still encounters this year while they are in school or potentially at home. And then Schoology has their own built-in calendar, which is really great. So when you're in Schoology, there's a little calendar icon on the top of their screen. They can click on it and they can see what assignments are coming up, or if teachers leave reminders, they can put things on that calendar. And then, as I mentioned, Schoology does have parent access. You can go to Schoology.com and sign up for a parent account if that is something you're interested with. And you have an access code to be connected specifically to your students. So you can sign up for free at Schoology.com, then go into PowerSchool Parent Portal. And there is an access code in the parent portal that you would just type into Schoology when creating your account. And you'll see all of your students that have Schoology show up. So in this little video here, in just a moment, it'll click up here on the parent account, which is Snow White. And now here's all of this dwarfs, all of Snow White's dwarfs as their students. You can easily click between your different children that are using Schoology. There are directions linked in this presentation. So in the next week, couple days to a week, when this is shared out with everyone, you'll be able to click on that and follow the directions to set up this account if that's something you're interested in. And so some more on the parent view and what you actually get to see. Again, you won't see the full course, you won't see other students' information, just your own, but you can see the courses that your students are enrolled in. You'll be able to see different groups that they're a part of, the calendar, you'll see graded assignments and upcoming assignments. So it is really kind of a helpful tool to be aware of what your student is doing and kind of their progress in getting work done. And then just like students and teachers can message each other, you can also send and receive messages with teachers. So that's a really nice feature too, that it's built right into one system. All right, I'll go ahead and pause there before we get into securely again. Are there any questions on Schoology? I know that was a really fast overview.
There's one question in chat. It looks like they are wondering if special needs students will be using Schoology as well.
We do have all of our students have access to Schoology depending on their grade level, or Seesaw if they're in the second grade. And our teachers do work hard with them on how to navigate that and kind of create visuals to go with that to support them in how to use Schoology. So the answer is yes, it might just be to a different varying degree or with different supports put in place. Allison, I don't know if there's anything else you want to say. I'm getting a thumbs up, but I think.
You did a beautiful job. Yep.
Okay. Great question.
More support teachers are well versed at technology and breaking them down, and they actually utilize Kim as a resource too to how to on helpful tips with using the computer and even breaking steps down.
Excellent. Let's see if there's any others. I think we're good. Okay, so we're going to talk about securely. As a reminder, it's that internet filtering thing that we talked about really briefly at the beginning. Its whole purpose is to keep students safe from harmful adult content or malicious websites. And it blocks all of these websites, and it can securely continues to add inappropriate sites to their blocked coverage on a daily, almost hourly basis. So things are always being added, and there's like millions of websites that are filtered constantly. And so again, it's just a layer of protection, but it's a pretty good layer of protection, and it's just a really helpful tool. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. Our goal with these devices is to support student with their education. We want them to be learning. We want them to be researching. We want them to have engaging projects. So with that, we do have to teach them how to be responsible digital citizens. We do have to give them some freedom to be able to search the internet and be on the internet. But with that, we do also want to make sure we're doing our due diligence and keeping them safe. So that is why we have Securely. And it also records some misuse. It will flag different things that we can look up. So it's a really helpful tool for both parents and teachers, because we can connect on that and work together to monitor students' internet use while they're on their devices. So with
And
that,
I was going to jump in on this with Securely just very quickly. The Securely program and system is embedded directly into Chromebook, that device that's given to students and that they take home. So whether students are using this at home, whether students are using this at school, this operating filter is always working. In addition, there's no way for students to turn this off or to work around it. And I want families and especially students to be aware of that. Most importantly, it was in the last bullet point on the last screen, we can monitor misuse. The way I like to explain this to students is, as a school district, as a school, as a principal, we can monitor a student's every keystroke on the Chromebook. And we can play back in time and find out to the second when they logged on their Chromebook, and every site that they visited. And if they open a document and start typing, every keystroke shows up. And then we can tell when they logged off. Students think there's ways to work around it. There's really not. We're pretty good detectives here. If there's some misuse or abuse going on, we will find it and we'll follow up with the student and their family accordingly. I don't mean that to be a threatening statement. I just mean it to be informative, that when you're working on that device, there's always Big Brother watching, and it's very appropriate for a school setting. And we have had those conversations with students and families, and I just want people to be upfront and aware of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dwyer. And so as we, Mike and I push into classes throughout the next week or two, we not only do a device orientation where all the buttons are, the volume buttons, all that kind of stuff, but also how to use their devices. And part of that is how to use them as a digital citizen and be responsible. So we do have this conversation as well. And if any misuse comes up, they'll most likely be talking to not just their teacher, but the tech team with administration. Depending on the situation, families will be contacted, or if it goes to the next level or is a repeat. So just, yeah, as Dr. Dwyer mentioned, be aware of that, but it's just a good layer of filtering to keep our students safe. And this is a quick video. Securely does have that parent portal so that you can help monitor. So I'm going to go ahead and play this really quickly for you.
Hello, welcome to the Parent Portal by Securely. This is Mark, and I'm here to give you a quick walkthrough on how parents can keep track of their child's online activity on the Securely Parent Portal. You will get an email from Securely in your inbox. The email gives you a snapshot of the sites that your child has visited, items searched online, and videos watched. To get an in-depth view of online activity, the parent must click Go to My Portal. This will take the parent to Securely's Parent Portal registration page. Just a couple of boxes to check, and you're signed up for free. Now that you're in, you can see a complete picture of what the kid has been up to. The entire list of sites visited, videos watched, stuff searched. If there is something to be concerned about, we will show it in the Flagged Activity tab. Next up, there is the Account tab, where you are able to change your password. The Connections tab here will show you if there is any other parent associated with your child. You can accept or reject that connection. Once the connections are established, this tab will be empty. There will be no more connections to show. So, this was one way of accessing the parent portal. There are other ways to do it too. When you sign up, you receive a welcome email from Securely. The email will have your username and password. You can use these credentials to log into the parent portal from the Securely website. A simpler option is to just click Let's Go and sign in directly. You would arrive at your parent portal dashboard and see the child's data. Easy as that. Raising responsible digital citizens is just as important as raising socially responsible kids. Securely's parent portal allows the school and parents to share that responsibility by keeping them informed and engaged. Thank you for signing up for the Parent Portal by Securely. Have a nice day.
All right, so if you would like to sign up for that, it is free. You do need to sign up and create your own account. And so there's more information with step-by-step directions on how to do that. Again, this is a clickable link, so if you just want to wait till the slideshow is blasted out, you'll be able to click on that and follow the directions. You get that weekly email with the internet activity. There will be flagged activities. If there is any activities, it'll be flagged if it's inappropriate. You can also block additional websites for at home when the device is there if you want at your own discretion. And if you have multiple students on Chromebooks, you'll be able to see them all from one dashboard, which is really convenient. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to Mike at Securely or Mary Jane Warden here in the district. And of course, you can reach out to your tech team at Roosevelt, which is me and Mike Martin. We're always happy to help you with any questions that you have. And there's additional resources and information here. For example, directions on how to connect to your home Wi-Fi when those students come home. You are able to use those devices to do Apple AirPrint, so there's instructions there, and links to just our technology department, the handbook, and then some digital citizenship resources that you can take a look at as a parent, and maybe help with some conversations with your child when you guys are at home. And that is all I have. So I'll wait a minute and see if we have any additional questions. But I'm really excited to get the school year started and to go in and meet all of the awesome students or say hi to them again, because I probably worked with them last year unless they're new to the building, and just get them ready for their devices. My 20-second wait time.
Coming in, but we'll give it a second while we give people just a moment. I do want to say thank you to everybody for joining us tonight, and a special thank you to any students who joined us. You get bonus points for being on the webinar today, and you'll be ahead of the class with some of your information when Mrs. Clarkson comes to visit your class with Mr. Martin as well.
Thanks everyone for participating.
All right, I'm not seeing any questions, so I hope all of you guys have a great night. And Mrs. Sabaka, anything else?
The last question is, are we allowed to install apps like Extra Math or other Scholastic apps?
All right, so here is a fun loaded question or answer for you. There is this wonderful new law that took effect on July 1st of this year. It's called the SOPA or SAPA law, if you have not heard of it yet. Any website, app, extension that your child is going to use on a school device has to be approved by the district, because we now have to make sure we're in compliance with this new law and make sure that we have all these data agreements to make sure that your child's data, their name and personal information is not being shared outside of those educational companies. So it's this really great law to protect our students and to keep them safe and keep their information safe. But it just adds this extra layer of what we have to do as a district to be in compliance with that. So if there's anything that you would like your students to access, I would recommend highly either reaching out to myself or reaching directly out to your classroom teacher. And they'll be able to kind of give you a list, or I can give you a list of things that are available. There is also on our district technology website, there's a link to something called Learn Platform. It is a public site where we have a list of everything that is already approved. that is okay for students to use. So you can also check that on the district website. Again, you'll look for the technology part of our district website. And then within that, it's called Learn Platform. There's a link right on there. So you can check what is allowed or what is approved to make sure that we're keeping our students safe.
I will say Extra Math is a app we have been using for some time. And I haven't checked the approved list recently, but if it's not on there, we would have something equivalent to that to be available to students. Also, often teachers will use websites that have games that you don't need to sign up with a user account, and you're welcome to bookmark some of those sites if they're learning sites or whatnot. And that might take the place of some of those pieces as well.
Excellent. That's a great question.
I think that might be it.
All right.
Questions go.
Perfect. Well, give me a few days to get this recording up and going on the website. We will blast that out when it's ready so you know to look for it. But thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
We look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Take care.